Welcome back to day 8, and this is day 1 of phase 2. Say that 5 times fast. This is the exciting part where we are going to begin actually shifting our belief systems, allowing a higher mind belief to flow through you, and really changing this sense of identity in the world so you could see practical results in your racing program and in your life. Once we realize just how important belief structure is to a human being, we become way more excited and eager to try to change out of our old identity into one of a greater potential, a higher potential for us in our experience. What we're going to be doing over the next 7 days is aligning our thoughts, our words, and our actions from the highest level of belief that we can access in the moment so that we can begin to shift identities towards that version of us. But before we do that, we have to understand just how powerful our beliefs are. So today we're going to talk about the story of Roger Bannister and how he broke the 4-minute mile. Some of you may be familiar with this, but as far as sports go and performance, this is really, really important to the rest of our journey here in a motocross mind-shifting experience. Back in May, I think of 1954, before that date, no one had beaten a 4-minute mile. No one was able to run under 4 minutes. People weren't even really that close. There was a gentleman by the name of Roger Bannister, and he believed that he could do it. So before this, no one had ever done it. This man believed that he could do it. He trained like he could do it. He didn't train as somebody who was trying to do it. He trained as someone who knew that he could do it. And I believe it was in May 1954, he ended up running under 4 minutes. He broke the 4-minute mile. Now, you might think that that is the most important part of this story. So yes, it is very, very important to know that a human being believed they could do something that had never been done before. They trained like they knew it was true for them, became the person who was capable, and when pressure was applied, they were so familiar with knowing, feeling what it would be like to accomplish this, that they set out and they achieved it. The best part of the story is that the next year, 2 or 3 people ran under a 4-minute mile. So it had never been done in the history of humans, and one person did this process that we're talking about here, ran under a 4-minute mile, and the next year, people started running it. And now over 2,000 people have done it since this person has done it. The point is that once it is in the ether that a human being can do something, other human beings believe it by default. So in your program, this cannot come from outside of you. It didn't come up from outside of this man who achieved this goal. He had to believe it inside first and do the work to align up to that belief. Once our minds get a hold of and accept a belief to be true for us, we will operate at that level. If we are living in the land of doubting the thing that we're trying to do, we will always fall short. That power exists inside of you. Whatever goal, whatever your why is, as you are starting this challenge, you and you alone have the ability to tap into that power and believe it for yourself so that you can follow through in your program and achieve the results that that person would achieve. It exists inside of you, always. What a powerful story. So today the lesson is fun. Grab that piece of paper and write down one belief that you feel is impossible for you. Are you trying to go to Loretta's? Are you trying to win Loretta's? Are you trying to podium? Are you trying to get top 20? You're trying to win a local race, win a local championship. Whatever the goal is, what is your belief about that? Write that down. And the more impossible it feels, the better for this exercise. I want it to be something that you feel is like outlandish. And then underneath that, I want you to write out, what if this were possible? And I want you to just allow space for that to potentially be true. Feel what it would feel like to be true, to be the person who does the thing that your current state of mind says is impossible. So today we're talking about how our mind can accept a belief and operate at the highest level, even changing the world. It could definitely change your world. And tomorrow we're gonna talk about the tug of war that goes on between our current belief system and the one that we are trying to allow. We'll see you then. Hey everybody, day 9 of our 21-day Mind Shift Challenge. Thank you so much for being here again with us. Before we get started, let me know in the comments how this is going for you. If you've made it this far, if it's been hard for you, if it's been challenging, if there's been any breakthroughs or takeaways that you would like to share, any stories at all, use the comment section to kind of fill that up and maybe inspire somebody else who's watching this or struggling to look for their breakthrough a little bit harder as well. Maybe they can even use you as inspiration or an example. So today, day 9, we talked a little bit yesterday about how powerful our minds are once they accept a belief to be true. Roger Bannister ran under a 4-minute mile for the first time in history, and the next year, other humans did it as well, proving that once you accept a belief, you can achieve whatever that belief suggests for you. Today, we're going to talk about cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance, simply put, is the difference felt between what you are saying in your mind and what you are feeling or doing in your body. So this is where we're going to start to take a little bit more action in the world and close this gap, because the way you shift your identity is not actually in your mind. It is by allowing the new thoughts to be so true for you before they are real that you take action in the world without evidence of it being true. You become the proof. You become the evidence in the world by taking action. So for a good portion of my program, I said that I wanted to be someone who performed at a very specific level. I wanted to be somebody who could win a local championship. I wanted to be somebody who won a race or a moto. I wanted just something to happen, but I did not think that I was the person who could do it. So in my mind, I would go over and over and over about how I'm going to do this or how I'm going to be the one, what we would call dreaming. You may have heard that a goal without a plan is just a dream, and that's true, and that's okay to start there. But what it can do inside of our body when we are not taking action to actually move us closer to the goal is called cognitive dissonance. There's something going on there where you're not responding or acting to the level that you are thinking. And it really feels terrible. But what it's designed to do is inspire you, believe it or not. It's designed to motivate you through the uncomfortable feeling that you have to take action so that you can express your highest self in this world, in this race, in your program. It's designed so that you become uncomfortable with your current acceptance of the limitations you have set for yourself, so that you'll move closer to that higher belief system that we talked about yesterday. So if you're feeling off, if you're feeling like it's not possible, don't worry, there is a way to close this gap, and today we're going to start. Whatever your why is, whatever the belief is, whatever you are trying to shift your mind to allow for yourself, write down what those thoughts are. We did it a little bit yesterday, what that belief system is, whatever that is, write that down. And then realize that you may not be taking action as that person yet because you're still operating under the current identity. What I want you to do is, from that version of you, the person that is doing the thing that you want to do, the person who is winning top 10 Lorettas, who wins the title, wins the championship, takes 3 seconds off their lap time, that person that you want to be, try to write down 3 things that you think that person does that you don't do. Get really clear and specific on what the person you want to become does that you in this current incarnation are not maybe doing. This can be hard because the mind can do something called leveling, and it will sabotage or criticize the current you for not doing the things at a higher level. So this is where we have to release judgment. We have to release any shame, any guilt around our current self or program. The only goal here is to move forward. It is not to beat ourselves up for things that we're not doing that we know we should do. None of that. Your mind can be a very, very tricky, scary place to navigate. So the less you allow that narrative, the more you'll be able to use this as data, as information to move forward. Just write down 3 things that the version of you that you want to be, that is achieving the goal that you want to achieve, what are 3 things that that version of you think is doing that maybe you can implement in your life? Take action on one of those things today, and write in the comments below what that action is. What is the one thing that you did today that your higher self or your future you is doing, so that you can start to bridge that gap and close that dissonance from who you currently are identified as to the champion that literally exists inside of you. See you on day 10. All right, welcome back. Day 10. Day 10. We are almost halfway there. Thank you so much for being here on the 21-day Mind Shift Challenge. I'm having a blast. I'm having the time of my life. It really, really is so fun to know that you're doing it with us and hopefully getting the results that you are wanting out of it. So day 10 is a very, very fun day. It is called reframing. What we're gonna do is we're gonna close that gap a little bit further from the version of you that is achieving the goal that you're wanting to achieve and the current you that's sitting here trying to shift your mind into that perspective. The only thing separating you outside of action is how that person thinks. So yesterday we talked about what that person does. Today we're gonna talk about what that person thinks. The version of you that is achieving the results that you believe you want to have for your why, the reason you're here. What does that person think? We want to get really, really clear on what that person thinks because that is what we are trying to become. We are in the process of becoming that version. So a lot of times people think that who you are is what you do. For many of us, and myself included, when someone would ask me like, hey, what's going on? What's going on? I would spend a half an hour telling them all of the things that I did in the world because my value and my worth, my identity was fixed around doing. Who I was a result of what I was doing. And what we want to shift into is being. And being is your state of mind. So who are you being? What thoughts are you allowing? And so someone who is performing at a high level does not allow the thoughts that exist at a lower level of thinking. They do not allow the doubts to be true. They do not allow the story that they are not capable to be true. It's not that they don't hear it. They hear it. It's not that they don't feel fear. They feel it. But they have reframed their identity, their thoughts, their mind. They have used this as a tool to reframe the way they respond in the world. They assume that new identity and then they operate from there. So I'm gonna go back to some examples from the beginning of the challenge. The track is very, very ruddy. It is unbelievably technical and everyone is struggling. Or it's pouring rain, the track's starting to get mud, water everywhere. It's just wild, you can barely see. I've been that person. You hear the people that are like, I can't stand the mud, I can't believe it's raining. It's so slippery out there. I can't stand ruts, I'm just really struggling. This is the biggest game changer in the world because that is a mental state of mind. That person is allowing that story to be true for them. And I promise you, it's affecting their ability to perform out on the track. The higher level athletes, you will see them say like, I don't care what the conditions are. I am ready to ride in anything. No, I practice in this all the time. I'm ready for this. I actually like it when it rains. Like an Aaron Plessinger. He's like, I love it when it rains. I'm ready to go. This guy's from Ohio. He's ready to crush it. If you've ever ridden Ohio, the mud out there is like a different animal. It's its own competitor. So he's very confident in the mud. He's allowed a story that says, I can do this. I'm ready for it to rain. It's an advantage for me. If you could just allow a shift, even if it doesn't feel true yet, repetition is the mother not only of learning, but it's the repetition of truth. Whatever you repeat, you allow to be true for you. So changing or reframing your perspective on an experience is the main way to gain an advantage. It won't be your bike setup. It won't be how many motos you did during the week. We're hoping that everyone is even. Everyone's working similarly as hard. The way you work harder or the way you perform at a higher level is to change how you view what is happening in front of you. Reframe it to the way the you that is performing at the highest level thinks about it. The power of reframing can begin to change your life and allow access to a higher thought system that you never even thought was possible for you. It's the beginning of making a lasting change in your life, not just because you've said so, but because you have a real tool that applies to every situation that you are in and can affect a powerful change in every single way. Hey everybody, welcome back. Day 11 of our 21-day mind shift challenge. We are really getting into deep water now. So if you've made it this far, give yourself some love, congratulate yourself. So yesterday we talked about the power of reframing, being able to change the way you perceive how something is happening or who you are in a given moment so that you can actually perform at a level that you previously were unable to perform at. Today we are going to talk about the power of anchors. Have you ever been walking around a national or one of your local races and smelled race gas and instantly just felt amazing and your whole mood changed and your whole attitude changed and you were just really excited for the racing? It's starting to get close. Well, all of that happened in one split second. And that's because your mind has a story about race gas and what it means to you. It means more power. It means that the pros are here. It means like you're ready to get after it. It means the highest level of performance. Whatever it means to you, it's called an anchor, a tape. It's something that can be triggered in an instant, but tells a full story about how you feel about a certain thing. You have a tape about yourself. You have a tape about your bike. You have a tape about your partner, your spouse, your brother, your sister. You have a tape about your racing program. You have a tape about everything, where in an instant, you could see something in the world and it will trigger a full story and then an emotional response. What we want to do is not just rewrite or reframe things that are happening. We want to write completely new anchors, completely new tapes in our life, so that through repetition, when things that usually would trigger us happen, we will respond instantly from our subconscious in a different way. So for this exercise, we are not going to spend time analyzing our mind to figure out what our old story was. We've kind of moved beyond that. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how to rewrite our script, how to rewrite our anchor. So what I want you to do is think about 3 aspects of your riding, racing, or training program. It could be starts. It could be your nutrition plan. It could be your fitness program. It could be your confidence in overtaking riders. It could be anything. Figure out 3 of those topics and then write down the story that you have about them. When someone says, let's go practice starts, what is your story regarding starts for you? How do you feel when someone says that? When someone says, you ready to run 3 miles on a sand loop at Club MX? What is your story about that? Are you a runner? I'm not a runner. My legs hurt. I can't do that. I don't want to run. What is the tape that your mind instantly tells you from your subconscious story about that part of your program? I want you to really get familiar with what the story is about those specific things that you want to highlight. And then I want you to rewrite the story as if you were the only one who could. So whatever it says, if I'm like, I am not a runner, I can't stand running, every time I run, my knees hurt, I can't keep up with the other people, this isn't going to help my program anyway. Below that, I want you to write what the script is of the version of you who is successful. I love to run. Be easy with yourself. Even though it's hard, I always make it to the end of a run. My body actually feels invigorated. I get a runner's high. I can't wait to run. I can't wait to improve my running. I can't wait to improve my fitness. I can't wait to get better at starts because I know how important they are. Do your best to write the new script and repeat it. Look at it every single day so that it becomes your new subconscious narrative. It will then take over. What you're doing is you are redefining and re-identifying for you the mind activity that we talked about in day 2, the what comes out of you when you're pressured. You are rewriting the script for your mind to begin to hold the new belief systems so that when you are pressured and that tape hits instantly, it is one of the higher mind, not the lower mind. Yes, it will take time in the world and action in the world from that place to actually believe it's true. Otherwise, you're just going to be somebody who's trying to believe it's true, but doesn't believe that you do. And that is okay. This is a process of becoming. You don't instantly shift your mind and then have access to everything that potential is for you. But in time, rewriting the script for you and then taking action in the world to prove to yourself that you are that which you say you are is the most important part of any part of life, and especially in a motocross program. We're all doing this at a different level. It doesn't matter if you have never ridden before, if you're an old vet guy like me, or if you are a pro rider ready to go factory. It all applies, and that's the beautiful thing about this. We all get to do this together. All right, everybody, day 12 of the 21-day Mind Shift Challenge. So if yesterday we talked about the anchors or the tapes of our subconscious mind that come out when we are pressured or when we are triggered by something in our program, today we're going to talk about how repetition is the mother of changing that into a behavior that will produce an actual result in the world. So yesterday we asked you to get really clear on what the story is when you are triggered by some aspect or part of your program. So pull that out if you can. Take a look at that. What is that story? And then what did you rewrite underneath it? Take that entire anchor that you rewrote and try to come up with one affirmation that best represents it. One thing that best represents the change. So for example, I had a tape about starts that limited me from really pitting it into the first turn. I didn't believe that I belonged there. I believed that everybody was going to get there first anyway. I said it was because my bike wasn't fast enough or because my tire wasn't brand new. Whatever it was, I was making up stories because I didn't believe in myself enough to actually do the work to be someone who believed they could be up front at every start that I was at. So what I had to do was write down all of those things that I believed to be true from that level, not judge them, and then write down the new script. I do belong up front. I do the work. My bike is fast enough. My tire is just fine. I can outperform them. I have very quick reaction time. I'll hold it on longer than they will. I belong here. This is the rewriting, the script that I had to rewrite so that I had a new tape when I would talk about or need to practice starts. And what I would do is I would just literally funnel that down into one phrase. I am a good starter. I belong up front. I get to the first turn first, no matter what. Now, it's not always about doing that. You might not always get to the first turn first, but you will never be somebody that doesn't say you're going to be to the first turn first before the gate drops. Don't beat yourself before the gate drops. Don't beat yourself before the race ends. Don't beat yourself in your training program before you allow yourself permission to show up and operate at the highest level that you are capable of. Find one thing that aligns with that entire rewrite, turn it into an affirmation, and repeat it 20 times today. I don't care if you have to set alerts on your phone, if you have to put it on Post-it notes and put it on your fridge or in your bathroom or on your bike before you get on your bike. Whatever you have to do to rewire in a new affirmation that aligns with the tape that you rewrote so that you can take action from that place, because it is the action aligning with your higher mind that will produce the results in the world over time. Thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to see you on day 13. Welcome back, everybody. Day 13. Day 13 is a very, very fun day of the challenge because it involves visualization. We touched a little bit on visualization earlier in the challenge when we talked about hello and saying it in your mind. This is more of an audible idea. Today, what I want to do is have you close your eyes and I want you to imagine a stop sign. If you are driving or riding, obviously do not do this. Close your eyes and imagine a stop sign. Can you see it? Can you see the white outline? Can you see the STOP in white? Imagine the pole going into the ground. Imagine some grass coming out of the pole. Imagine a mountain range in the background. You can literally see it, but you're not using your eyes. So where are you seeing this image? Just like where were you hearing the word hello? Not with your ears, but yet you heard it. You're perceiving these things with an inner sense. This is the highest level of you. This is where the highest aspect of your mind and your thought systems exist. It's not with your five senses. It is inside of you in silence. It's the most important part, once you get all of these other parts, of your program, of your racing program. It's being able to connect the dots from who you are to who you will be. We do this through visualization. How important is it for you to know before you get to where you're going that you can get there? Think about a race that's coming up. Think about an opportunity that's coming up. Think about a training session that's coming up. And what I want you to do is not dream about this. This is not a dreaming exercise. I don't want you to just dream about what you want. What I want you to do is imagine that you are actually doing what it is you're setting out to do. If you are racing a certain track, I want you to download the track layout if you've never been there before. If you have been there before, I want you to imagine 100% that you are on the bike. And here's the tricky part, and this is the wild reference to dissonance. How often have you tried to imagine yourself performing and then you didn't imagine yourself winning? Isn't this funny? How many times have you imagined yourself like, oh, I got a big race coming up. Let me start to kind of do some visualization and imagine myself in the race. How easy is it for you to imagine yourself running up front or winning the race? This will give you the real details about what you truly feel about yourself and the difference of believing you could be someone who can do well and the person who knows that they can do well, who has not believed something about themselves, but who knows it. I used to imagine being at Loretta's and being in the top 20. That was my goal. I wanted to try to be in the top 20. And I used to sit and imagine the track, and I would imagine the start, and I would imagine all these. Do you know that every time I imagined it, do you know how hard it was for me to imagine myself getting the whole shot? Do you know how hard it was for me to imagine myself being in the top 20? My mind wouldn't even let myself imagine it for a very long period of time. That's how much I didn't believe I was the person who could do it. I wouldn't even let myself imagine it. So this speaks to the truth about us a lot of the time. If you can do the work and you can build evidence over time through action in the world, your visualizations will become not only more clear, but you will allow yourself permission to be the person who is performing at a high level in your mind. And that is where this starts. Because if you can access that version of you that is winning in your mind, or getting whole shots in your mind, or upping your training program, or performing at the highest level possible in your mind, if you can see it with your eyes closed to the point where you can feel it in your heart and your soul, you will begin to believe it before it happens and take action in the world, because you are so sure that this is something that's possible for you, and you're so sure that it aligns with the truth of who you are and what you came here to do on a motorcycle or in life. The power of visualization, being able to work this muscle and see yourself up front and believe it so much that you take action in the world, is the key to getting the results that we are looking to get by the end of this challenge. Hey everybody, welcome back. Day 14 of our 21-day Mind Shift Challenge. Again, thank you so much for being here. Day 14 is the last day of phase 2, and we're going to build off of day 13, which was our visualization exercise. So remember, if we can finally allow ourselves to be someone who visualizes ourselves performing at the level we are trying to perform at, we can begin to do the next part of this process. And that is closing the gap on our identity. Becoming the person who does what we are trying to do, instead of coming from the position of a person who is trying to. In this example, we are no longer going to use the word try. Try is coming from the position of someone who is not there yet. And I understand the safety net of that, the constant building and the protection of being someone who is constantly trying to be what they believe they can be. Where real faith comes in, where real bravery comes in, is where you close the gap in the way that you speak. Remember, we're trying to close this gap between what we think, what we say, and how we act. So if we have closed the gap from what we are thinking and visualizing about ourselves in our mind, the next thing that we have to do is close the gap with our words. We are no longer going to say that we are someone who is trying to get good starts. We are no longer going to say that we are someone who is trying to podium at Loretta's. We are no longer going to say that we are someone who is trying to become a runner. We are going to operate from the position of already having it, being it, or doing it. So this is where I'm going to ask you to get very, very clear on your why once again, because this is where the level of our why really gets exposed. This is where you find out if you really want what you said you wanted or not. We usually don't know until we actually look at ourselves as being someone who can achieve it. When we're someone who doesn't think we actually can, but wants to live in the dreamland of wanting, it could be really easy to have this why, and I want to do this. When you really put yourself to the test and try to become the person who achieves that, that's when you find out how powerful your why is. And that's why we say that the two aspects that we are going to focus on here in shifting our mind is our who and our why. So what I want you to do for this exercise is, in the getting clear of your why, no longer be the person who is trying to do this thing. Every time you speak this or think this, you are coming from a position of saying, I am a person who. Not even I am going to. I am a person who, and then insert what it is that you are trying to do or change. I am a person who top 10s at Loretta's. This is mine. This is what my goal is. This is what I'm saying I'm going to do. Not someone who is trying to get good starts, or I am trying to get better. I am getting better every day, 1% better every day. It's easy for your mind to accept that. I'm getting better 1% every day. When someone says, oh man, that was terrible, you really messed that up, and da 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 da. Never agree. Never agree. I'm getting better every day. I'm getting better every time I go out. I learned a lot from that. reframe and then say with your words from the position of someone who is doing it, not someone who is trying to do it. So whatever it is that you are focused on changing, do your best today to only think and speak from doing, not from trying. Let me know in the comments how this works out for you. This is usually a really, really powerful day, and it's something that I still do every single day. It's one of the most important parts of my program because I am somebody who likes to live in the comfort zone of someone who's trying to do something. I very much have a hard time with claiming ownership of doing the thing because I have a fear that I'm going to look stupid when I don't. Understanding that the don't or the you might not is part of it. It's not about claiming ownership so that you do every time. It's claiming ownership so that you show up as somebody who has the potential to do it every single time. This is a process. Remember, you have to be easy on yourself to allow this identity shift. The mind likes to get a hold of a limitation or a doubt and then beat us back down to the level that we used to be. Don't let that happen. Be someone who allows grace through this process of transforming into this highest version of yourself and your mind.